FBI Director Kash Patel just got cornered about owning up to $5 million in Chinese stocks while running the agency tasked with fighting Chinese espionage. When pressed why he's profiting from America's greatest national security threat, his answers crumble. This isn't just a conflict of interest. It's the fox guarding the henhouse, and the implications for national security are staggering.
Gentleman from Georgia is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Patel, thank you for being here today. I want to first talk about the significant role that the FBI plays in combating the national security threats posed by our nation's greatest threat, our nation's greatest security threat, China and the Chinese Communist Party. It's a fact that China is America's most significant national security threat, isn't that correct?
I would say so, sir.
And you would agree with me that China wants to dominate the United States of America?
I think that's largely their plan.
And they want to dominate the world, both militarily and economically, isn't that correct?
I think so.
And sir, you've been FBI director for the last, 8 months?
7 months, yes.
7 months, and during that time, have you held any stock in any companies founded in China?
I don't believe so.
Well, you do own stock in a company known as Elite Depot, don't you?
Which one, sorry?
Elite Depot. You own stock.
I think that's, I'll have to get back to you. I think it's a law firm and it's a company out of Singapore.
Okay, well, no, the company out of Singapore, which is owned by Elite Depot, is the Shein Company, which was founded in China, correct?
That company operates out of Taiwan.
Well, they changed their headquarters from China back in 2022 to Singapore for tax purposes, but it's owned by a Chinese billionaire. I think his name is Charlie Zhu, and you own stock in the company that owns Shein.
Which I disclosed during my confirmation process.
You certainly did. And now, do you still hold that stock in that Chinese company?
Pursuant to the Department of Justice, who reviewed my material that was submitted during my confirmation process, I was able to hold certain stocks, and they made the decision.
You still hold the stocks that you have? You still hold on to these Chinese stocks, these stocks in this Chinese company?
I disagree that it's a Chinese company, but I was in the DOJ, when you're appointed, makes a call on what you can and can't possess.
Well, now, let me ask you this. Chinese companies steal trademarks, they produce counterfeit products and sell them over the internet on platforms such as Shein. They steal intellectual property. They steal data from American companies. And to me, it seems inconsistent with your role as FBI director that you would own stock in a company that is based in a country that is the nation's premier national security threat. It's like you are putting your own financial security over the security of the nation.
I disagree with that characterization.
Well, I think the American people look at it like it's a classic situation of the fox guarding the henhouse. If the FBI is charged with investigating espionage, economic espionage by companies controlled by the Chinese Communist Party, and you are the director of the FBI, you've got a conflict of interest.
Sir, I would just show if there's any intimation that I'm against.
Why are you holding on to this stock?
It wasn't a decision I made.
And it's valued at up to $5 million as of when you last reported, correct? $5 million in stock?
No, I don't follow it.
You don't follow it, but you're still making money off of it.
I don't have any money off of anything.
Well,
what I have done...
Trump's trade policies directly impact the value of that Chinese stock. Won't you agree with that?
Which trade policy? I'm not a trade expert.
Okay, all right.
But I want to
You're
tell you
play
this.
crazy on me today. Let me ask you this question. Why are you hiding pedophiles? Why are you shielding pedophiles? Why are you protecting pedophiles?
That is maybe the most offensive thing you could say to me, given the numbers.
Well, you have not released
Given
the
the
Epstein
numbers
files.
of pedophiles.
You are aware of the
we have
Epstein
arrested-
client list that was published in the 18,000
The gentleman has
emails released?
expired. The gentleman yields
I just-
back.
Can you answer the
Can
question?
I just respond?
Of course, the gentleman can answer the question.
Since I took over the FBI, there has been a 33% increase.
Sir, all of that
encounter-
started under Christopher
Your
Wray.
time is done, but
No,
the-
it didn't.
The witness gets to
All of
answer
that
the
started
question,
under
and then
the
we'll go to our
previous,
next.
33
FBI director, sir, and you're coming in here trying to take credit for something that a previous director
Gentlemen,
instituted and largely brought to conclusion.
I take
I
no
think it's made
credit.
clear that
offensive.
the
It's
director
offensive.
has numbers are so
incorrect
much
also.
better than the previous director.
It's
Director Patel, if you
deceptive.
want to
I take-
answer the question.
I take no credit. The men and women of the FBI have seen a 33% increase in the number of counterintelligence arrests out of the PRC.
And so all of a sudden, with
And
you
the-
coming in 7 months ago,
and,
Gentlemen's time has
Heaven on earth.
expired.
and on
sir,
the pedophile
the American public not gonna
accusation,
go for that.
we have arrested 1,500 child predators in the last 7 months.
Under
That's more
investigations
than
initiated by
anybody else.
the prior
Appreciate
directorship.
the director's good work, and we really appreciate that the time the gentleman has expired. We now
What Representative Johnson exposed wasn't routine oversight. It was a masterclass in revealing how conflicts of interest compromise institutions designed to protect America's national security. When the FBI director owns millions in stock from the country he's investigating, we're not talking about paperwork problems. We're talking about fundamental breach of public trust at the heart of law enforcement. Let's examine why this exchange matters for every American who expects their government to work for them, not against them. Johnson began with a premise Patel couldn't dispute. China represents America's greatest national security threat, seeking military and economic dominance. This isn't partisan rhetoric, it's every major intelligence agency's assessment. The FBI's counterintelligence mission centers on combating Chinese espionage, intellectual property theft, and economic warfare costing American businesses billions annually. Then Johnson dropped the hammer. Patel owns stock in Elite Depot, which controls Shein, the Chinese-founded fast fashion giant. When Patel deflected by calling it a Singapore company, Johnson methodically dismantled that dodge. Shein was founded in China, operates primarily from Taiwan, and moved headquarters to Singapore in 2022. For tax purposes, the company is controlled by Chinese billionaire Chris Xu, making it fundamentally Chinese despite corporate shell games. The financial details are more problematic. Patel disclosed owning up to $5 million in this stock during confirmation. That's not pocket change or oversight. That's substantial financial stake in a company operating in the exact ecosystem the FBI monitors and investigates. When Johnson noted Trump's trade policies directly impact Chinese stock values, Patel claimed ignorance about trade policy. But ignorance isn't defense when you're the nation's top law enforcement officer dealing with economic espionage. The structural problem runs deeper than personal ethics. When the FBI director has financial interests aligned with Chinese companies, it creates regulatory capture. Even without conscious bias, the appearance of conflict undermines bureau credibility with foreign partners, Congress, and the public. Career agents investigating Chinese companies wonder whether their work affects their boss's portfolio. That uncertainty creates chilling effects, compromising investigations before they begin. Consider the operational reality. When FBI agents prepare briefings about Chinese corporate espionage, they now must wonder if their findings might negatively impact their director's personal wealth. This isn't theoretical concern, it's the everyday psychology that shapes institutional behavior. Agents may unconsciously soften assessments or delay sensitive investigations to avoid perceived conflicts with leadership's financial interests. Patel's defense that DOJ reviewed and approved his holdings misses the point entirely. DOJ ethics review focuses on legal compliance, not operational wisdom. Just because something is technically permissible doesn't make it strategically smart. The FBI operates on trust and legitimacy as much as legal authority. When legitimacy is compromised, investigations suffer, international cooperation falters, and national security gaps emerge. Timing matters. Patel took over during escalating tensions over technology transfer, South China Sea buildup, and suspected espionage targeting American infrastructure. This is when the Bureau needs unquestionable credibility in counterintelligence work. Instead, we have a director whose financial interests create doubt about motivations and judgment. Johnson's Fox Guarding the Henhouse captures why this matters. The FBI shapes intelligence assessments, influences policy recommendations, and coordinates on national security matters. When the decision maker has millions invested in the target country's economy, every choice becomes suspect. Did that investigation delay because of evidence problems or portfolio concerns? Was that intelligence assessment shaped by facts or financial interests? This illustrates how financial conflicts hollow out institutional integrity. When officials maintain economic ties to foreign adversaries, they signal external profit matters more than public service. That message resonates throughout bureaucracy, normalizing compromised judgment and eroding professional standards, keeping institutions effective. What should happen? Patel should divest all Chinese holdings immediately, regardless of DOJ ethics opinions. Appearance of impropriety is itself improper when national security is at stake. Congress should strengthen disclosure requirements for senior law enforcement officials, requiring real-time reporting of foreign investments and automatic recusal from related matters. The Senate should demand clear answers about how these holdings might have influenced FBI operations. This isn't partisan point scoring. It's about maintaining institutional integrity that makes effective law enforcement possible. When the public loses faith in FBI independence and objectivity, the entire justice system suffers. Johnson's questioning exposed how easily financial conflicts compromise institutions Americans depend on for protection. If we don't address these conflicts now, we'll pay the price in weakened national security and further erosion of public trust.